instrumentarium is not participating, G is offering a lower discount of 25-35%. And the discount was basically the difference between the listed price in the catalog and the final price that the customer paid. So we can see that we have already a 10 percentage points difference, meaning I'm giving a bigger discount when I face the other margin parties. And then they undertook a regression analysis where they basically concluded that we have a 5-10% effect on discount when instrumentarium is present. I'm giving bigger discount when the other margin party is there. And if you go to this figure, you can also represent this type of discount analysis here. Let's say, in terms of early stage, we put the catalog price when the firm B is not present, and the final price for the customer when the firm B is not present. And when the firm B is not present, I'm not going to give any discount. And for the tenders where the firm B is present, the catalog price, and I'm giving a very big discount of 10%. So the idea is that when the firm B is present, the firm A is giving a bigger discount. And here, I come also to another type of analysis that one could do, and which is related to a data that I mentioned at the beginning, which is the evolution of the margin over time. In tenders, we often have an early stage and a final stage. And in both stages, you have to give a financial proposal. What we can do is that we look only at the final stage. And what we see is that, well, when the firm B is present, the other margin party is giving, let's say, the difference is giving, let's say, a 5% margin. When the firm B is not present, it has a 15% margin, 20% margin. So we have a 15 percentage points difference. And what we say, well, this measures the price effect from the presence of the other margin party. However, we have to account that we have tender characteristics. I may give a lower margin because the tender is more complicated to win, because of the scope of the tender. So we have a 15% price difference, but not this 15% is due to competition. It may be due to tender characteristics. If we go to the first stage of the tender, where competition on price was not so much important, we have still the same scope of the tender, and we still find a 5% difference. One interpretation could be to say, of this 15% here, 5% are due to tender characteristics, and therefore, the remaining 10% will be due to competition effect. That's also another way to measure potential price effect using tender data. In some sense, from the initial difference, we remove the first difference. So, that type of analysis was undertook in Geostorm. In Geostorm we had a mix of this type of analysis from G instrumentarium and this type of analysis.
Christina, would you like to continue?
Oh, yes.
Thank you.
Okay.
You were mesmerized by the discount effect.
I'm not sure it's that. We'll hunt for them.
It's our IT.
Maybe close that window.
Yeah.
And maybe that'll be up here.
Maybe they'll be on the here.
Try that.
This.
Yes, that's one.
It's the only other one that.
Yeah, good. Sorry. Could be if you're lucky.
No.
Is someone with my slides?
Yeah, let me see whether I can find someone.
Where is the presentation?
Sorry, that appeared to be your slide.
Well, Christina,
I
why don't
can
you start, and then when we have the presentation, we'll catch up.
I can start. I probably sent them a bit late, and which is entirely my fault.
No.
So let me just say again that I'm delighted to be here. Thank you for coming to this talk. Particularly pleased to be on a predominantly Italian panel, I have to say, with apologies to Daniel and to the other Italian economists in the room. Of course, just to take a minute to mention that many of you may have seen, but many of you may not have seen, that the announcement has been made that the new chief economist being appointed, who is another Italian following Massimo Motta, is Professor Tommaso Valletti, who is well known to certainly the economists in the room, less so to the lawyers, because he tends to be someone with possibly more a telecom background than a competition background. But certainly an excellent appointment, and it's good to have another Italian in the game. My first slide, could you see it, was intended to be a little provocative, because I will in fact get more serious and talk about many of the things, touch upon many of the things that Giulio has discussed. But certainly I've been around long enough, as Enrique has reminded us, to remember a time when, a number of years ago, the sort of notion of bidding market was effectively given almost a mystical meaning when you were working on a case, meaning that the notion was that it's a bidding market as if it is somehow protected from the normal rules of economics and competition. And Professor Klemperer, whom Giulio has reminded us of, wrote an important paper on bidding markets back in 2005. A famous quote from that paper is, "The existence of a bidding market is commonly cited as a reason to tolerate the creation or maintenance of highly concentrated markets," as if that was something we could tolerate in these markets and they would have no effect. So there's been, again, in this kind of folk vision of bidding market, a notion for a long time that because they are sort of bidding markets, somehow no ill effect can follow from concentration. Two is enough is a slogan that's been around for quite a long time in the early days. It supported this kind of folk view that somehow increasing concentration wasn't necessarily in these markets going to lead to adverse effects. Of course, 2 is enough is only something which is possibly true in extremely narrow circumstances, which in real world markets do not tend to apply. There's also, of course, the typical type of work that is done in these cases that kind of tends to sort of be a bit like, look, mom, no hands, so I can show that somehow the concentration increases and magically outcomes remain the same. There is no adverse effect on prices, and that is somehow, as I say, a sort of a mystical kind of quality that seems to be traditionally attributed to bidding markets. The reality, as Giulio has discussed, is very different. Of course, many and all of the intuitions that make us concerned about unilateral effects in normal markets that are not bidding markets also carry over and apply entirely to bidding market. And the fact that something is bidding doesn't necessarily mean that, therefore, concentration has somewhat attenuated effects as a result. I was going to talk a little bit about what Giulio has sort of majored on, which is this distinction between first price and second price auction, just because it is a fairly recent area for discussion and debate, and not something that has been typical of many of these cases. As Giulio has mentioned, it has been a major feature in the G. Alston case, not in other cases, but it is certainly been a big enough debate to warrant some reflection and to think a bit about whether that kind of framework and thinking about bidding market is one that sort of somehow deserves a more generalized introduction into the world of competition or application. So as Giulio has reminded us, there is first price, which really is a type of auction in which the bidders tend to shade their bid, so to determine their price, the price they offer, as a function of what they know about the number of other bidders. And then what they know far less about what others bid, but what matters is really, in this case, is certainly the number of bidders that are in the auction. Then you have a second price auction, as Giulio mentioned. You look at how often the bidding parties were the first and the second. It closes the best two, and as we were already as we were explained, the merger has the effect of moving the price, the winning price from the second to the third best in the simplest setting. There is also, importantly in all of this,